Alright, so I know y'all missed me last week.
Oh, I missed you, buddy. I missed you.
Had to come out the door swinging. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Stay Fishy Friday.
Welcome, guys. Welcome. Now, we got a lot to talk about this week.
If you haven't yet, go check out the latest TikTok that we just posted. Absolutely crazy. Pretty sure you guys seen that TikTok of Paul Cafaro feeding the Arapaima. I think
where he pretended to get knocked out and fall into the water and die type thing. That was it went viral, it went everywhere. But we got one a little bit better. Now, sorry, Paul, love you, bro. You're our friend and everything, but that was an Arapaima. He got no teeth. The one we just put out, there's some teeth involved.
Lots of them.
And our buddy John, you know him, he comes over and helps out all the time to rescue. He put a shrimp in his mouth, and this alligator gar came up to him and took it out of his mouth, snatched it, like he could have got stitches in his lips. And wow, it's just amazing. Check out the new TikTok.
Yeah, what he said.
Way to back me up, bro. Okay, so you want to jump right to the Tracy? Or you want to do the word of the night?
What's the word of the night?
The word of the night, let's go with either Tracy or Bruce.
I'd say, let me mention a TikTok. When we talking about TikToks a lot.
Okay, so TikTok. TikTok is the word of the night. The drinking word of the night. You hear that? You must drink or consume or do whatever it is you people do.
You say Bruce?
Stop out. What the hell? You got me swearing already. Stop it.
That was his calling card. You said Bruce. All right.
Okay, let's start this.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
We got the Tracy update.
Wait a minute. Before the stream got started, we had 2 super chats. One from Dan Carter for $2. Said happy Friday to you guys.
Well, happy Friday
Thanks,
to
Dan.
you, buddy. Thank you.
And then we got AZ Fish Room. Welcome back to the green team, buddy.
Nice. Thank you. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Now you may continue.
Okay. So today, the Tracy update. There is a lot that happened this week, and oh my God, it put me through the ringer. Okay, so I don't know how to say this. Let me start with I want to show some pictures, but they're very, very graphic. If you've got any children or if you're squeamish, please don't watch for a second, okay? What had happened during this last week, and it started on the last Friday Fishy show. I had to leave twice or 3 times to go take care of her. She got real sick, okay? And everybody said it was C. diff, including the doctor. He was prescribing antibiotics for C. diff because she just got off of antibiotics, and now she had, I hate to say the words, but explosive diarrhea. It was bad, you know. So 3 times I went out there, I changed everything, I cleaned everything, I got her redressed, and then back up. And then, you know, that was pretty bad, okay? But then what started happening was, if you guys remember what originally happened to Tracy, she had an upper GI bleed, and she bled out. And she was puking this up, but because she wasn't getting her narcolepsy medicine, she was in a delusional state, and she was puking out blood and not telling me. So I didn't know. So this is all that happened. This is what started all this. Now, the hospitals have never fixed this GI bleed because she's had a trach in. She's had tubes down her throat. You know, they said, hey, it stopped. It's good. But, you know, in the last year, it's came in 4 times, and every time it's been 3 days. The first day, bloody as can be. The second day, less. The third day, you can tell it's closing up and stopping. That's how it's came in every time. Well, this time here, it scared me. I mean, I have basically turned into a doctor at this point, and I'm handling everything. I've handled her, you know, puking blood for, you know, like 4 times in the last year, but I know that in 3 days it's slowing down, it's going to stop. Every time it opens up, that's what happens. And they're not going to do nothing about it because of the trach and the tubes and stuff down her throat. So I've dealt with it and I've gotten through it without sending her to the hospital before. But this time was something fierce and something different. Now, I'll show you some pictures, but please, no little kids. And, give me a 10-minute break from kids. And, if you're squeamish about blood, please don't look at this. Because this is what happened after the last night or last Friday show. First off, after the 3 episodes of the explosive #2, we all knew she was sick and things were heading bad. She started coughing so much, she ripped her upper GI bleed open again. I knew this because the first time that I suctioned her, we saw this. Now that's her suction cup. And you see blood in there. That's coming out of her lungs. So not only is she bleeding internally again, but it's coming into her lungs, and I'm suctioning out of her lungs from her trach. So things where I was like, oh no, she's got her upper GI bleed back. It's all bad, Well, there's where she's coughing. There's around her trach. Now, mind you, she's wearing her blue string shirt and, it's like a halter top. And all this blood around her trach came out. And I'm like, oh no, things are getting bad. I know I'm in for a bad night now. It's probably about 10 o'clock now. Mind you, I've already changed the sheets, her clothes, her brief, everything. 3 times from the explosive #2. It was all bad. So then this happens. She starts, bleeding internally, and it's all bad. Here's where she puked up blood, and now it's terrible. Okay, I'm seeing blood, and it's coming out of her stomach. That's the black coffee grounds looking stuff. When blood hits your acid in your stomach, it turns into a black coffee ground looking terribleness. So she just laid there, and she didn't heave forward like, It was more like this. And it just come running out. Well, I felt her belly, and her belly was distended. It was like a wet water balloon, You push in, it pushes right back out. It was all full of liquids. So at this point, I didn't know what had happened. I've got an explanation for that later. But, so she puked up the blood. I cleaned it all up. I changed the shirt, changed the sheets, everything else. I'm okay, I got this. I'm going to have to be on this tonight. Now, it's probably about midnight now. And this is how much blood I had to suction out of her lungs. So not only is she puking blood, but she aspirated. When she puked, it went into her lungs. So I'm suctioning out her trach, and I'm pulling blood out of her lungs. This is not good. This is all bad. This is borderline scary at this point, okay? So I clean this all up. I get her suctioned out. She's doing good. Everything's fine. And then about, 2, 3 in the morning, she pukes a second time. Now, mind you, this is her cream shirt. And I've got the air hose going to her, suctioning up and all that. But it just all came out. Now, this tells me there's a lot of blood in her stomach. And it's scary. And, this was 3, 4 in the morning, whatever time it was. And I've been up all night now after the Friday night, Fishy show. I've been up all night fighting this. We got past the explosive #2. It was ridiculous. It was crazy. It was messy. I got into the middle of the night with this, and this is the second time she's puked up blood. And the blood coming out of her looked horrible, like ground up coffee grounds. So then I'm suctioning out her lungs as much as possible because I've done this before. I've dealt with it before. If I don't get all the liquid out, she ends up getting an infection. So what I'm doing is I'm putting saline solution down in her lungs, and I'm sucking out. And we filled up this bottle with all blood. Now that's about the size of maybe 3 beer cans. So, and I say beer cans so you guys can associate the size. I'm sorry. That's a lot. Now I'm starting to get worried because she's bleeding internally way too much. So then, I get it all cleaned up. Now it's about 4:30 in the morning, and I'm like, okay, the worst is over with. It'll start closing up now because every time this has happened before, it's always been a 3-day thing. She pukes the first time, Then the next day is a little bit in her lungs, and then the third day it's almost closed up. When she's gone into the hospital 3 days and it's closed up again. So I'm working on this theory. This is going to close up. Well, about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, this happens again. Now she's wearing her cream shirt, and it's the third time she's puked up this blood. I mean, it's horrible. And not to mention, she filled up this much of the second cup. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, I've been up all night fighting this, cleaning her up, constantly cleaning her. At 8 o'clock in the morning, I threw in the towel. I called EMS because I couldn't fight no more. I was too scared. I'm not a doctor. I'm doing everything that I know is right. I've done this before. We've handled it before. But I was scared. There's a lot of blood gone there, you know. She's only 98, 100 pounds. And to have this much blood gone and that, oh my goodness. It was just too scary for me. I called in EMS. They come and got her at 8:30. They took her to the hospital, and she's been there for an entire week where they've given her blood transfusions. They actually went down this time, finally, for the first time. This doctor was willing to go down in and explore and see where she's bleeding from. He saw the records from all these internal bleeds she's had before, and they were never able to find it. The doctor that put in the feeding peg in her belly, he put a camera in there, and he saw nothing, an ulcer, nothing in the belly, no occlusions, no nothing that suggested a bleed. So it was between her belly and her throat. They called it an upper GI bleed. But because every time she went to the hospital, it closed up on its own, they left it be. But I'm like, you can't, you know, I'm at home taking care of her. I can't just do this. You know, I'm not a doctor. I feel like Bones on, you know, on Star Trek. Jim, I can't do no more, you know. But anyways, I'm not a doctor. I don't know everything, but I'm trying and I'm learning all this stuff, and I'm fighting to keep her out of the hospital. But when I say it's time to go to the hospital, the nurses are already wanting her to go to the hospital. But every time she goes to the hospital, they screw her up. They don't give her medicine. She goes into a delusional state again. You know, it's all bad. So I hate having her go to the hospital. So I've tried keeping her from the hospital and doing as best I could. If I can go without sleep to help her, that's what I do, you know. So she was in there all week. By Wednesday, they said she's coming home Wednesday. Okay, that's great. Then Thursday, I get a call. They're going to go down in with an exploratory endoscopy and go down her throat, even with the trach there, go down her throat and look and find out. They're going to go into her belly and into her lower intestine. Well, here's the problem. They went in with this. Finally, is what I needed this to happen. They went in with this camera, and what they found was her peg tube had failed, and it had actually got sucked into her lower intestine. So there's a balloon inside the peg tube inside her belly that keeps it from coming out. That balloon was now seated in her lower intestine and was blocking anything from going into her intestine. All the food, all the stuff I'm giving her, and the blood she's leaking is just making her belly get bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, this explains why she didn't puke by going, "Blah." She puked going, and it just come running out because she was so full of liquid. I said something to the nurse, you know, earlier, and I noticed that her belly was distended and full. It seemed like a wet water or a water balloon. You know, you push it and it pushed right back. So, you know, I did see it, but if I was a doctor and knew these things, I'd have been like, there's something going on in there. I just thought she was full. So, you know, let's maybe hold back a feeding or something. But I didn't know her peg tube was stuck into her lower intestine. So that's one problem. Second problem, they found her esophagus was 3/4 in peril, basically. There was a spot where it was bleeding out, and they cauterized it, and then 3/4 of her esophagus was in peril from her stomach acids were eating through her esophagus. So what they did was they prescribed a I can't even remember the name for it, like Prilosec or something like that, something to ease the stomach acids. They cauterized the one leak, so the blood leak should stop. And now 3 months they want her on this Prilosec or whatever it's called to ease the stomach acid so that her esophagus can heal. And now 3 months from now they want to do another endoscopy down her throat. Okay, so that's all good. She's doing great. She's healing up. We found the problem. Everything's great. And then Thursday comes and they're like, well, she's too low on blood. We're going to have to give her blood. And meanwhile, the nurses are telling me she's coming home today. She's coming home today on Thursday. She's coming home today on Friday. She wasn't coming home. So by Friday coming, well, actually it was last night, Thursday night. They brought her here at 8:30 last night. And I stayed up all night last night taking care of her. They sent her home with a catheter in her and a bag where she pees into. And me and the nurse are like, you can't leave that in there. That's going to give her a urinary tract infection. I don't know why they'd send her home like this. So we put calls into the doctors. I looked up the instructions how to get it out. The nurse knew how to get it out. You got to, release the pressure on the balloon and pull it out. So I guess it gets inserted, and then there's a balloon that blows up that holds it in place. So we got to get that out. And then we can start wearing briefs again and, changing her. But her belly's much better. Her skin complexion is so nice. She seems more aware to me. She followed me around the bed. I was talking to her on this side. I go over to this side to suction her out. She turned this way and was following me. I walked around this side and she turned back. I had to stop and kiss her. I was like, oh, baby, you're following me around. It's so sweet. And I had to kiss her. And then I went back to suctioning and taking care of her and all that. So now she's home. And the nurse was here all day today. Everything's back to normal. We spent the day cleaning the room, putting all this new stuff away, and getting the room back to organized. And, everything's good. I'm very happy with the results because now they finally fixed the upper GI bleed, which they never did before. And I was just like, oh my God, everything's fixed now. So, and then she seems more aware. She seems more content, more aware, and more, so I'm very happy with the outcome of all this. It was a week of just sheer hell and frustration and scaredness. I mean, I've never seen anybody bleed that much and not die. You know what I'm saying? That was a lot of blood. So, we're getting through this. She's coming back. We're going to remove the peg tube now and put a Mickey tube in. It's only this long, a Mickey button. It's only this long, and it's got a bag on this side, and then this over here is just a button, and you can put a feeding tube onto it. It cannot fall in and go into her intestine. It's only for children. But Tracy's child size. So when the doctor finally, said to do this, I was like, that makes so much sense. She's only, 4'11" and 100 pounds. She's the size of a child. So they're putting in a Mickey tube. Next time that the feeding peg fails, she has to go in the hospital one more time. They'll install the Mickey button, and we can change it every month from that point on here at home, where we can't change the G tube now. It has to be done with, X-ray machine or something like that. It's ultrasound. We cannot do it at home. We don't have the machinery. So, it ends up she's better now, but man, for 3-4 days there, I was just a wreck. When I sent her to the hospital, in my mind, I was like, oh my God, they're going to call me and say that she passed. I just know it. It was so bad.
All right, we have this pertains to mom. So we got Sue Ann Campbell for $5. She said, praying every day for Tracy. # Team Tracy.
The first few days was so just horrible, and now things are better. So I'm very happy that this all happened, but my God, it was rough to go through. It was rough, and I'm sorry for showing such graphic pictures, but I wanted you guys to know the extent of the problem. It was bad, So let's move on to happier topics. Let's be done with the Tracy update. She's loved. She's happy. She's in there being taken care of. I have her right now. She's laying right here on my phone on the bed. I can watch her, and everything's good. Everything's back to normal. We're good. So let's move on to happier things. What's the drinking word tonight?
TikTok.
Let's talk about TikTok. Do you got a TikTok? We got a TikTok. Can you guys drink as much as I'm saying TikTok? Right?
Maybe. I'm just waiting for this video to gain some traction and take off.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. So let's get some fishy question in
Chris
the chat.
Trapp, the first fishy question. How was Excision, Josh?
It wasn't just Excision. It was a lot of people. It was, whole collection of artists coming together, and it was a great time.
You know your dad was home taking care of mom at the time, right?
Yep.
And, wishing you had a good time.
Do I regret it? Nope.
My boy loves me so much. I gotta get these tears out my eyes. Oh, it's crazy. Oh. Okay, let's move on.
We asking how's the patio coming along?
Oh, the patio. I called the contractor and he's like, well, did you get the, because I'm like, why aren't you here yet? It's been 2 weeks. And he's like, oh, well, did you get the permit yet? I'm like, I'm supposed to get the permit? I'm like, I didn't know that. So I called, that was yesterday. I called Strongsville, and you don't even know this yet. I called Strongsville Building Department today. As a homeowner, how do I get the permit? The lady told me I have to go down there and fill out the permit papers, and then I have to have a survey of my property. I'm like, well, I don't have that, and it's like $750 to do that. She goes, well, you've done additions before, and, I don't see, let me see what's on there. She goes, oh, you have a handwritten survey.
All you need is a drawing.
A drawing, right.
Stating,
this is what they told me.
Here's the drawing. I can literally draw it up in literally 10 minutes if you really need it.
We need it, yes.
I don't want to do it. How much paying me?
Stop it. So I have to draw up the backyard, how wide the property is, how deep it is. Here's the house. Here's the patio we want to put on, the dimensions of it, how far away from the property line, how far away from the house, all this. I have to draw up, and then Monday I got to go down there and apply for the application, and then she said it would take 2 days or so. They'll either approve it or they'll say no because of this. I can change it, and then they'll approve it. So, I got to go through that. Then the contractor can come out. So that's what's going on with the back property, the patio, the stamped concrete patio. Josh?
See, there's a dead difference there. I can stamp this drawing, and they can do whatever the hell you want.
Oh, really?
They
well, then let's do that.
They cannot dispute.
See, my son is an engineer for the city of Cleveland. He can do what he wants and then tell Strongsville, this is allowed. I love that.
They cannot dispute a PE stamp whatsoever.
Hey, Strongsville, love you. I think I'm going to go that way. You get that Monday, and I'll hand it to him. This is what we're doing, Strongsville. Thank you very much.
You have to have Claude call me and tell me how thick the concrete is, what he's using, wire reinforcement.
All right, I'll find that out after the show.
Those are all details that need to be done. But we're paying him. Shouldn't he include this in the price?
He gave us such a cheap price, and, a couple thousand below any other contractor. So if we have to pay the $50 for the permit, let's go ahead and do that.
My time is priceless, buddy.
He's getting a big head now because he's a structural engineer for the city.
Did you say that again?
Because he's a structural engineer for the city.
All right, sorry, this time we're good. So
I didn't slur it the first time.
We have JP Merlot for 20
Hey,
bucks.
JP, how you doing, buddy?
Says prayers for Tracy all day. 100% healing. God's got this. Whatever his will be, will be. We love y'all from down here in Kentucky.
Isn't that West Virginia? I'm sorry, JP. I know you're in Kentucky. No, he's heading up the Mammoth Cave Aquarium Expo. Not this weekend that we're having right now. Today's Friday, not Saturday, Sunday, but next Saturday and Sunday is in Kentucky. Now, Ohio Fish Rescue is going to be there. Me and Reaper are going to be there. We worked it out with our nurses. We worked it out. Josh is going to stay there and take care of Tracy at nighttime. where, we've got Mara's going to stay till midnight, and then Evelyn's coming at 8 in the morning. So she don't need to be changed. So Josh can suction her out. I don't want my children ever changing their parents. You know what I'm saying? No children should ever see their parents naked. So in this situation, it works out. Mara's going to stay till midnight. Evelyn's coming at 8 in the morning till 4. Mara's coming back at 4 until midnight. It's going to work. We've got this all worked out. So JP, we will be there. It'll be me and Reaper. And, we're definitely coming. You knew that already, but all these other people don't know. So check out the Mammoth Cave Aquarium Expo. Now, Big Rich and Reaper will be there. We'll give out free stickers. We'll sign all the signatures and whatever you want signed. We'll take pictures with you. That's fine with me. We're going to be there all weekend. It's going to be a great time. Hope to see you guys there.
We got Jim Sheasley for $5. Welcome back, Jim. Glad you're feeling
God,
better.
he's back. Oh my God, that took such a load off. Jim, do you know that I hunted down the hospital that you were in and called the hospital and they wouldn't release any information? I'm like, I don't want information. Is he there? That's all I need to know. Is he there? If he's there, then he's not passed. And, my heart can stop, So, and they finally let me know that you were there. And I was like, yes, okay. Because you were worrying me, son. You didn't get a hold of me for like 2 weeks. I left you messages. I on Facebook and your phone number, I left you messages. You weren't getting a hold of me. All I could think about was the worst has happened. You went back to the hospital and bad things happened. I finally got a hold of the hospital and they eased my mind. And, okay, now we're okay. We can sit back and relax until Jim comes home. It's okay. Glad to see you're home, buddy. I was so worried. I mean, I actually tracked you down. Found out what hospital you were in. That's how much you worried me, son. Don't ever do that to me again.
It's prayers for Tracy.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. Chris Trapp said your quarantine section is huge now. You should see it after the night.
Oh, yeah, we're adding more now. Yes, the quarantine is... Well, you know what? We were getting too many different fish. Here comes in 2 30-inch red tails and then 80 guppies and then 2 Oscars. They all have to be in separate tanks. So we're limited, So now we've got many different tanks and many different levels of quarantine they've gone through.
Yep.
So when this one finishes quarantine, we immediately place them, whatever, and then get that tank back to normal, fresh water in it, ready for the next fish. So it's helping us out a whole lot. We didn't know we needed this until after we had it. Now we're like, how did we live without this? It was so bad.
Hazy Fishroom said next week's drinking word is structural engineer. I think it's TikTok this week, though. So if you guys haven't checked it out,
What is TikTok?
it's a video platform where we post awesome videos.
And we have a TikTok?
Yes, we do.
And what's it called?
Our TikTok's about to pass our YouTube.
What's our TikTok called?
Ohio Fish Rescue.
Well, Fish Rescue TikTok?
No.
I'm just trying to say TikTok as much as I can say TikTok. These guys should be, soused by now.
Dave Man said, are you guys going to rehome Tesla to a public aquarium once over 5 foot? Or are you guys going to get a large aquarium from at some point?
Yeah.
Right now, Tesla is my boy. He's my child. And right now, we're going to give him whatever he needs until...
Here's what we've got planned for them. Tesla we're going to keep. Because...
I stick my hand in his tank and I say, hey, buddy, come
Let me
here.
talk. Tesla we're going to keep. Lavaca we're going to keep. Because they're 2 mainstays here. Everybody loves them. Lavaca's in the 265. Tesla's in the 195. We're going to swap them because Lavaca don't need that size tank. Tesla needs a little bit bigger tank. So even if we can add this, 75 gallons to his tank, he is going into 265. Lavaca's coming over to the 195. Still plenty enough size for her. Because, it's 7 foot long. So, she's got plenty of room. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to swap those 2 and keep them in those 2 single tanks. But see, the problem, and I've always preached, was we don't have enough room to be able to put one fish in one tank all around our place. You can't keep them separated like that. I know you got to keep them separated, but no, we can't do this in this situation. We're a rescue. We need tanks, need to be full of fish that need places to go home. So, you know, we can rehome them and do all that. But in this situation, these are two mainstays. We want them to be our
if they're a mascot, then we're going to
Right.
keep them as long as we possibly can.
yes.
That
And
is
if we have to
our
update
oath.
them later, we'll do that.
That is our oath that we're going to keep these guys, give them the best life possible, and you guys can enjoy them until they pass away. So if Tesla's 6 foot long and I'm still sticking my hand in the water saying, hey buddy, which I will do, because you know what? It's an unexplained science. I stick my hand in the tank. He does not shock you unless he touches you, which don't make no sense, because you can stick them probes in the water and it lights up that sign, which is unexplained.
And I have seen tribal guys stand there in the Amazon River and bring in a net, and there's an electric eel in there, and 5 of them drop and fall into the water.
Eel touched him.
No,
Had to.
no, no, no.
I have video evidence. And I'm out there, you know, it's going to come back and haunt me one of these times. I'm out there saying, look, the eel doesn't really shock through the water, but it's a neat, you know, unexplained sign.
I got shocked
that
through
he
the water.
lights up.
He's crazy.
It's all in your head.
I got shocked. I
stick
didn't
my
know it
hand
was the eel.
in that water, and he lights up that sign, and I don't get shocked. And I've been shocked plenty of times, you know, titanium heaters.
Oh, that was great. I
All
love
kinds
that
of stuff.
one. That was awesome when that happened.
So we have Ange for $25. She says, late. Cheers to all of you. Hashtag Team Tracy. Hashtag OFR Rocks. Whatever the drinking word is, ×5. And that is TikTok.
And you little shit. The drinking word is TikTok.
She just said she was late.
Well, I called her a little shit. She goes, oh my God, it's so funny that you would call me a little shit.
Chris Johnson said, did the new quarantine tank hold water? So here's the deal with that tank. For one, when I repair a tank, I don't worry if it's going to hold water or not, because I know it's going to hold water. But
We're
no,
not worthy.
that video came out yesterday, and I actually did that work yesterday it came out this morning. I did the work yesterday, put the video out, so it came out this morning. So by 8 p.m. tonight, the silicone would have cured for 24 hours. We can actually test it with water. I was just out there before this stream putting in all 6 bulkheads, because I told you in the video I have 24 hours, and I did what I said I was going to do. I installed all the bulkheads, I glued them, I capped them. Everything's good to go. The plugs look great, the seams look great. So
He wants to fill it with water after the show tonight.
So we can fill it, and tomorrow I'll have it filled with fish, because I got a bunch of fish coming tomorrow.
And we can do that because we have a bunch of filters on the 550.
Which I explained on the video, if you guys would have watched our video.
Watch the videos, guys.
So we have 10 FX5s and 6s on the 550. So we can take 2 or 3 of those off the 550, still have ample filtration, be able to stick new ones on there, let them seed, and have this tank fully
That's what I
heated.
take when I go on big trips for big fish. I'll take an FX5 off of the 550 and run it in my van onto the 300-gallon tub, and you know that's what takes out the ammonia in the water and the nitrites in the water until we get home. So they're all doing good. They can stay in that tub for weeks if I have to, you know.
So we have KK for $3. She sent a little animation emoji with a big thumbs
There you
up.
go. Thank you, KK.
Thanks, Janie. She shared our TikTok on her page. Awesome. Kevin Josie said, big shout out to Reflow for the hookup on a Hammerhead Barracuda Gulp pump. I can now run all of my big tanks on one pump.
Reflow gave him a pump?
And it
Sounds like that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's all we use here is Reflow. Gold Hammerheads, Titan
If
Sharks,
we get them, we keep
darts,
them.
snappers.
They're the best pumps we've found. So we keep them.
But the hybrid ones, you can get 10,000 gallons per hour on 100 watts, which is insane because the old school, reflows are like 180 watts, 200 watts.
No, the Greg Woodstock pond pumps.
That's Greg Woodstock's. His is 600
watts,
which is insane.
for 8,000 to 9,000 gallons
Right.
per hour.
Right.
It's
I was
like-
saying the old school
it's like-
reflow.
But no, there's a difference. His has power to pump up 20 foot. When you're getting these high flow pumps, they can't pump at 3-4 foot, but they can do it at high volumes. And that's what we want, because we're not doing a high maximum velocity pump. You know what I'm saying? So that works better for us because we can pump more water for less wattage. We love that.
Okay, so Wiley Gerardot said, "Hey, how's that everything? My question is, I am a patron as a monthly contributor. Would it be better to come over here and join on one of your levels here? There isn't much going on there." So we created the Patreon.
I know that, and I'm sorry for that. But here's what we're going to do. The Patreon, we're going to have, because there's a lot of Patreons on there. For you guys, we're going to hook up a 24/7 live stream of an underwater tank, and we might change it to different tanks during the week, but there will be a stream completely free to you guys. We can't put that on any other platform. We can't put that on YouTube. It can't be done. We can put it on Patreon, and then you guys that are paying monthly subscriptions will get that.
But the Patreon was created as basically a dollar a month drive for, not promising no extra content for people that wanted to help out.
But then so many people jumped in at a higher
Yeah.
price.
Yeah.
So this is what we want to do for our Patreon people. We want to put a 24/7 live stream. Everybody's been asking for it. So if you join our Patreon, you will get the 24/7 live stream of our channels, and it's not going to affect our YouTube. So the YouTube will be videos, and then the Patreon will have, just for Patreon members, 24/7 live stream. Now, one week it might be 3 days into the 58,000 gallon pool pond underwater. The next 3 days might be in front of the 4,800 gallon tank. Then it'll be in front of the 2,200 gallon tank with the albino fish. Then it might be in front of the 1,800 cichlid. We're trying to set that up now. I have to find a way. Our biggest problem was we couldn't get Wi-Fi all the way out there to the pool pond and then to the fish room. I have bought 6 Wi-Fi extenders now, and we finally got Wi-Fi out there to where I can see all the cameras in the fish room on my phone right now if I wanted to. So now we're able to start doing the video of all the tanks, and it'll be a 24/7 live stream. And here's the thing, you guys might catch us on there. You might catch Big Rich walking through, stubbing his toes, screaming, "Son of a," and swearing and everything else.
And his whitey tighties.
Oh, stop it! Never will not. You might catch Josh feeding the fish or something. Yeah, we're just going to forget that video's going, and we're going to let it travel. So you'll get to see 24/7 live stream of our fish tanks, and we'll randomly change it around. So that's going to be our Patreon thing. That is one thing we are definitely doing. So if you want to join the Patreon, either $1 a month, $24, $50, $100 a month, it's up to you guys. But that is what we're doing for our Patreon people.
And as far as the YouTube goes, everyone on YouTube who joins as a member gets a little bit of extra content.
A lot of the unused videos that we don't put out, we put them onto the YouTube. We got, here's, Reaper comes over, the Roger Dillon comes over, we do this, and then we ain't got enough to put out a whole video. Well, that stays on our phone for a week or two or whatever. Them are the kind of things that we're like, screw it, we can't make a video out of it. We're going to put this up onto our member section. So on our member section, you'll be able to do that. Plus, we'll be able to, add a bunch of, let's say 8 hours a day or something live stream to there, something for all of our members are going to be able to have something, worthy of that. We're getting to that. The problem was we didn't have the Wi-Fi that would reach 600 foot to the back of our house. Our house is like 600 foot long. It's huge. With the pool and the deck and all that and the back pond. So now we've got Wi-Fi out there. I just finished that like 2 days ago. But that was expensive. I mean, it's taken me a year of buying and adding on, these Eero beacons and adding on more and more and more. So it's been crazy. So now we finally so we're going to start doing the underwater videos and the tank videos for all of our Patreons.
So we have Brian Crossman. He said, I just sealed a 55. I wish I knew about the cylindrical tool method. I used my finger and it was a disaster. Well, knowledge is key, my friend.
Sorry, buddy. We've all gone through that. That's a gooey mess. And you didn't do the taping, I bet, because once you do your finger all the way up there, you can pull the tape off while it's wet and it's a nice straight line. I bet you didn't do that either.
And then you beat yourself because you're like, that's so simple. Why didn't I think of that?
Right.
Zach Polsden said, when you use an FX5 filter on a rescue, do you quarantine it before you put it back on your main system tank?
No, because we're taking it off our quarantine tank.
They never are on the main system. Always
so I
quarantine.
take that tank and put it on the tank that I put them fish in, and it stays on there until they pass quarantine. Then that filter goes back on the 550. And then I'll take the next filter off the 550 for the next batch of fish. You know what I'm saying? So we've got this pretty much down to a science.
Keanu Turk said, any advice for internal parasites? I just got some Paragard today. Paragard should work, but I usually use a mixture of Prazipro, Metro. If it gets a little bit worse, then you might use some.
Here's the thing. The problem with internal parasites is you put it in the water, it don't get absorbed very much. You need to medicate the food. So if you take a bunch of pellets and you mix up your medication, and you pour the water over the pellets and you let the pellets absorb it, and then you let it sit there until they can become dry again. Now them pellets have absorbed all the medication. You feed your fish them pellets, and it attacks internally where the parasites are,
We have Cleveland's Best Adventures for $2. He said, see y'all this weekend.
Oh, Nate's coming over.
Wolverine Hoosier said, strap a GoPro to the musk turtle in the 58,000.
That was a good idea. We want to do that. But here's the deal. I sold my GoPro that Paul Cafaro gave me because I wanted to upgrade to a newer one. And we haven't upgraded yet. So this is in the works. I've got all the fittings, all the pieces, I've got a whole case full of different fittings for a GoPro. But that GoPro 5 we sold, and now we want like the 8 or something, to where it's much better than that. GoPro 5 wasn't doing very well for us. It was already leaking water into it, so we had to buy a case for it. So when I sold it, it had the case with it, and I told people this is why, and what happened. So we've got the money from that we can upgrade now for 100 or 2 more. We're okay. We're going to get the new GoPros, and then that's what we want to do. But I was thinking, it would be really nice to strap it to the Arapaima. But I don't know if we're going to be able to catch him, strap him. The turtle will be easy.
Janie asked if we thought about going live on TikTok. I have but before, and I will in the future. But I wanted to get a larger following before we made that commitment. Doogie's asking about advice on keeping temps down without air conditioning. It's been 90 degrees, and he's got fans running, but don't know what else to do. Not 90 degrees is not too bad. With a 90-degree air temperature, your water will probably get up to 86. I mean, unless it's in direct sun and it's a wild case, but your water's not going to get that hot, so I wouldn't be too alarmed. Like everyone's saying in the chat, you can float frozen water bottles in there if you want.
Cool it off a little bit.
Of course, the fans on the water helps too, but if it doesn't get too hot, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Right. Now, let me address this real quick. This guy, Charles Blake, you said something really rude and totally derogatory. Liz deleted you for it, okay? If you say something like that again, we'll remove you from our channel. That is uncalled for. I'm sorry, you're a douche. You shouldn't say something like that. I don't make no money off of my wife. She is I am here 24/7 taking care of her. I don't ask for no money. You don't hear me asking for no money. How dare you, sir, speak of anything like that? Say something again. I dare you. Oh, I'm sorry. It was hitting already. Let's go on.
Block them regardless.
Right. That was just rude. That was rude.
We got Mike Flow 20 for $5. Says, can I dry cannabis stalks and roots, then put them in a fish tank? Is it beneficial? I have no idea. It is illegal where we live, so I have zero experience. Could be cool. I don't know. I mean, it might be beneficial. It might hurt them. I don't know. I've never tried it, bud.
Mr. Innocent over here.
If the government's watching, I don't know what cannabis is.
I can't even spell cannabis.
Wait, is that how you? Am I even saying this right? Is it cannabis?
You gotta love this boy. He's so funny.
So we have Sue Ann Campbell for $5.
I'd Sue Ann.
She said, my jeweled cichlid is sitting on the bottom of the tank. Clamp tail fin only comes up to eat.
Not good science.
All their fish are fine. Parameters good. Any ideas?
Do you have a fish in there picking on them? Because fish will hide against one side of the tank and down the bottom or up top if somebody else is picking on them. If not, check your water parameters, because if there's something there that's bothering this fish, it will, recede into itself. So, it's hard to say what you're asking us. We can't give you a solid answer without knowing the water parameters, without knowing the fish that are in there with it, without knowing what size tank. There's a lot of parameters, Right now, what I would say, most importantly, is get him out of there and put him in a tank by himself and watch him come back, no problem, because whatever the situation, he's being bullied or, something's bad. Don't just let it go, because you'll wake up one morning and it'll be gone.
Chris Trapp says Josh just went to Excision. He has no innocence. So we have Dayman 1980 says, would there ever be a case where a fish would be too big to accept if someone brought out 5-6 foot jowl, Peruvian shark, would you be nervous sticking it in the pool? No. Absolutely not.
No. We would take it in happily. And
figure out what to do with it.
Right.
He'd be my buddy. A 5-6 foot jowl? Oh, man. 6 foot Peruvian shark? Bye, Dad. All right. Keanu Turk says, I just got my first tiger shovel nose. I'd like to put him outside, but it can get in the low 30s a few nights in the winter. Any heater recommendations? And should I do above or in the ground?
I would do a double heater. I don't care what brand it is. Do a double heater configuration. A 300
redundancy.
A 300 watt heater set at say 85, and then a 300 watt heater set at like 82. And if this one fails, this one will turn on. Okay. Have a heater controller. In other words, you plug it in. It has a probe that goes in the water, and then it has an outlet that you plug your heaters into. You plug them both into there. Have one set at 85, one set at 82. The second one won't turn on as long as the first one's working and it's 85. It'll never turn on. But if the first one fails, the second one will kick on, and you can replace the first one because you see it's not on no more. Redundancy. It works. And it saves lives.
And if it's in the ground, you get a little bit of geothermal heat helping it to not freeze over. If it's above ground, it's likely to freeze solid. If it gets below freezing, gets super cold. So definitely in the ground would be better with the redundant heaters, would be the best. We have done it here before. We've had ponds outside over the winter. We've heated them, kept tropical fish out there. It's not advisable, but it is doable. Tammy said, "Hey Josh, you're doing a great job on TikTok. Loving all your videos on TikTok." I like that she said TikTok twice. She said TikTok.
You said it twice. Fruit Farms, Wolf Enterprises, LLC says, "Glad Tracy's doing better. For your information, those pictures weren't that graphic, but the amount of blood was quite overwhelming. Great job at taking care of your spouse." Well, thank you. And, that's what I'm here for. You got it. I mean, if any one of you, see, people think I'm doing this great thing, and I'm not. If any one of you, your kid or your wife or even your sisters or brothers, something happens, you'd be right there doing the same thing because it's family. I don't feel I'm doing nothing special, so don't praise me. I feel every one of you would do the same thing if it was somebody in your family. You step up when it... Do I want to be here every day in the last year and a half and never leaving this house? No. I would never plan that. I would never do that. But who else is going to do it? I have to do it. So I stepped up. Same way every one of you would do for somebody in your family, I 100% believe. So please, I'm not doing nothing special. I'm just taking care of my family.
Tri-State Tropic says, "After 5 feet is the frost line, so it won't freeze below 5 feet." All right,
Well,
5
see, now
feet.
that's different.
That is the Klondike up in Alaska. It freezes 5 feet. Here in
Up here,
Ohio,
it's like 22 inches.
It's 30 inches.
30 inches
is the technical frost line. But if you have a body of water, there is never at any one point over 10 inches of ice. It's able to be walked on. You can skate on it. You can ice skate. You can.
But there's still water under it.
Right.
Because the pond's deep. Now, our front pond's only 30 inches deep, and it has had fish in it for the last 2 years, all winter. It freezes over solid. You'll see a little open spot where the waterfall comes in, and that's where the gases escape. And then you'll see where the overflow going out into the, what do you call that? The suction thing?
The skimmer?
The skimmer. There's a little bit of open area there where it flows into the skimmer, hits the pump, and gets pumped to the waterfall. Other than that, the rest of the pond is frozen, and the fish are underneath there. And it's only 30 inches deep here in Ohio. And the frost line's at 30 inches. So you'd think that would all be frozen solid. No, not even close.
So the frost line is technically calculated at a worst case scenario in your zone. If it got as cold as it ever got,
we're talking
on
stagnant
record,
water too.
Yeah.
Not flowing.
If it ever got as cold as it ever would be on record, they had a little bit of a safety factor to that, and they say that's your frost line. So it'll never go below 30 inches here. And we haven't seen it above 10.
Right.
But you guys see that show Gold Rush, where they're digging down. It's solid ice for 5 foot of just frozen dirt. That's crazy.
Right. I'm here, Josh. I'll let you answer this.
Josh usually doesn't say much when Tracy comes up. Is that his biological mom or no? Assuming no, but I have no idea. Don't mean this bad at all. Just curious. She is my biological mom. I let him.
And Richie's mom is Tracy. That's my wife, their kids, our kids. Now, whether I'm the biological dad, now that's a different story. Kidding.
I just let him do his thing. I kind of feel like it's a coping mechanism for him. He gets ecstatic to tell you guys about the mom update. So I let him do his thing. And I'm there when, things need to come back. I need to pull him back, gain his composure. He takes a drink, he gets happy, and we're on with the show.
My boy. You gotta love this kid. I keep saying that.
Is there Tattletale said, is there a way to fix a Paku's teeth? No.
No, you can send a Paku to the dentist. If you've got enough money, if you've got I don't know, Arab money, you can send your Paku to the dentist. But I don't have Arab money. My Paku's teeth are crooked, and they go stay crooked.
Cow Walker 1 said permafrost is tough to dig in. Yes, that's where the frost line is around 5 foot, technically deemed permafrost.
Right, and no matter what, it stays frozen, and you got them big D5, D7 bulldozers with the big tooth pulling in there, and it busts that off because it's so frozen. We don't have that problem here in northern United States.
Right.
Our frost line is 30 inches, and it's only let's say our equivalent to permafrost is like 2 inches. It's once you get through that, it's digging easy. It's just cold. That's all.
All right, so let's get some fishy chats or some fishy questions in the chat.
Okay, I'm going to answer a question. Can you handle this?
I was just about to go get one, so you're lucky.
Awesome. My son loves me. Chris Trap says, I can't afford... Oh, hang on. Check on Tracy. Oh, it's just her thing on her thumb. Her pulse ox monitor. It came off. You're good. It's nothing. Okay, so I was supposed to answer something. Chris Trap says, I can't afford to send my fish to the dentist. Need some China TikTok money. Well, you made me say TikTok, so here's to you. There needs to be more GoPro videos in the big pond. This is from Tri-State Tropics LLC. How come we don't see you guys swim that much in the pool? You're not afraid, are you? Look at that. Challenge accepted. No, actually, where's my phone? No, my phone's right here with Tracy on it. I can't show you. I gotta watch Tracy. I'm sorry. We were actually swimming in it yesterday. John Doe come over. John that comes over and helps us. Brought his sister, and they went in there, and John actually fed the alligator guards with a big piece of 4-inch shrimp sticking out of his mouth. He swam up to them, and the alligator guards come up, swam next to him, and then went, what? Nailed him. I'm like, John, he signed the waiver first, so I'm like, John, you're insane. He will take a chunk of your lip off, and you'll need stitches. He's like, well, then I'll need stitches. I'm like, oh my God, dude. But his sister was really brave, and she fed the fish too, and they did good. Usually I don't go swimming in there to feed the fish. If the fish come up to you, and like Brutus will come up to you, if you got no food, he'll check you out, and he'll turn around and swim away. The alligator guards will come up, check you out. You got no food, they'll turn around and swim away. That's it. And then you swim in there all you want. They were feeding the fish, which is dangerous because once they get a piece of food, they want more, and they get closer. And the problem with the alligator guards is if you've got a piece of fish right here, they'll come up and swim next to you, and then they'll open their mouth and swing sideways and bite and pull away. So if your lips are there holding a piece of shrimp, they're going to bite the whole thing and pull away. John's lips could have been severed. It was dangerous. I was telling him, don't do that. It was bad. But, they made it out unscathed. Nobody got hurt. And we've got videos now. So, wow. Do the fish in the big pond eat the volunteer cichlids? I don't think there's no volunteer cichlids, but there is cichlids that have been raised in there. They come in as babies through the overflow, and they hide behind the rocks, and there is a huge colony of cichlids now. I'm talking thousands. And then a colony of red jewels. I can throw sinking pellets in, and they'll all come running from everywhere. And all these big fish will come over and will not, the little fish, the little cichlids, 4-inch cichlids, will not run from any of these big fish, 4-foot fish. They come over, they're looking for their tilapia fillets and shrimp. And they're looking for food that won't run from them. These big fish exert a lot of energy trying to keep up with these little fast cichlids. So they just leave them alone. I know this because the cichlids don't run when the big fish come around. They just swim right past their mouth. They don't care. These little cichlids are everywhere and don't care. So I know they're not eating them. And the amount of cichlids I've got in that pool pond is amazing. So they're growing. It's crazy. So, maybe every once in a while something will get picked off, but I highly doubt it. They sit around and wait for their big pieces of fillet to come to them without exerting any energy. This is why we don't have clown knives in the pool pond. They will decimate that cichlid. Their clown knives are lightning fast. Same thing with peacock bass. We took the peacock bass we had in there out because they were going after the cichlids. So there's certain fish we can't put in there because of that. We want the ecosystem of all cichlids everywhere, eating all the stuff on the bottom, all the big fish eating the big food that we throw in. We like that. It's nice, you know. How's the tigerfish doing? He's doing real good. He's growing well. He's eating good. Richard says, John is willing to lose his lips for views. No, he just wanted to do it. I'm like, well, at least let me video it. He's like, well, do what you want to do. He didn't do it for views. I'm like, wow, dude, you're just crazy.
Reaper for $5 said they're called cichlids, bro. Chicklets. He almost got the spelling right. He messed up his mess up. It's supposed to be chicklets, and he said cichlets, but it's almost cichlids.
Reaper's something else. He's my boy.
All right, where did I leave? You guys have been busy.
Yeah, we're going through. Here's the list. I'm up there.
Oh, here. Sure.
Did all the fish tanks find homes? Most of them. I've got 10-gallon tanks and 2 20-gallon longs and a couple of 10-gallon stands outside that I'll give out. Nobody's claimed them. They're in my way. I can put Joshy's four-wheeler back in under the tarp as soon as I get rid of them. We don't want the fish tanks outside getting full of rainwater. That's a problem. So the four-wheeler's sitting outside right now. Let me see here.
What are we drinking tonight? I'm on hazy pale ale, single malt chasers.
He said consume.
I got whiskey and apple juice.
What do I get?
Vodka and grape crush.
And water. Hydrate while you drink.
Wait, let me rephrase this. It's whiskey and diet apple juice. It's only 5 calories.
He says, he's like Vanna White over here.
Gotta keep those gains.
Wow.
Patio Santivito says, what if you put trevallies in the pond? Cheers from Milan. I would love giant trevally. You can put them in freshwater, but I will not purposely buy trevally and put them through that pain. But if I ever rescued some, I would gladly put them in there.
We'll gladly put them in.
Because they get massive and they're sweet. They're awesome. I've always wanted them. They're a sweet fish. But you know what? We practice what we preach. So I'm not going to buy no giant trevally.
Yeah, we try not buying everything because we could go out there and buy everything and be a public aquarium basically to have everything on display. There's a certain, every once in a while, there's a certain fish, like Josh wanted that jowl cat for like, wanted a jowl, he wanted the gooch for so long, and then I wanted a jowl cat because of the one I saw at the Shed Aquarium that was 5.5 foot, and his mouth, swear to God, was 1.5 feet wide. And when he opened and clapped shut, it was way more impressive than anything Brutus ever did. I wanted that fish. He got me one. And now he got his...
Jeff Beatty got you on.
Yes. Thank you, Jeff.
Had to clarify that.
Now, he got his gooch, and now he got his GATF. We've got 2 of them, a large one and a small one. And they're both doing good. They're eating good. They're doing great. But we've got them in their own tanks, so waiting for them to go into bigger tanks.
Not reading that one.
Okay.
Disney Fancy, can you do a video feeding the koi in the front and backyard? And are you going to add bullfrogs to both ponds?
There's bullfrogs in there, and we do a feeding video at least once a month, maybe every 2 weeks. The problem is we don't want to do a feeding video every day. We don't want to do an underwater video every day. We don't want to do a tour video every day. We don't want to, so we mix it up. So they are there. If you people watch every single video, you will get the whole kit and caboodle. You know what I'm saying? What kills me is somebody's like, why don't you ever do tour videos? And I've already done tour videos to where people are complaining to me that all we see anymore is tour videos. That just tells me you're not watching our videos. Watch the videos. There's plenty. Search Ohio Fish Rescue for tour videos, and you'll see a bunch jump up, Go look at the recent one. Or better yet, here's the best thing to do. Go back to year 1 and watch the first video and then have it just stuck on OFR videos and watch them all the way and watch us build all the way up till now. Then ask us for a video you can think of.
We got Dylan Moran says, Josh, love the Goonch Man, my dream fish. Need an update on him. Are you going to grow him out? We just posted an update video on him.
Watch our video, people.
It was literally like 3 videos ago. It was labeled Devil Catfish, and he is a big old beast. He's actually terrifying to feed because I love my fish, so of course I hand feed him. So, I stick my fingers down there, I give him some food, and the second my finger hits the water, so he'll only eat in select spots of the tank. If he's out cruising the tank and sitting on the bottom, he will not eat. He will only eat if he's perched up in his corner and he's up in the current. So I stick my hand in there, he comes over and whaps the food so hard. So I always think, what if he gets my finger? A little bit terrifying, but it's exhilarating.
Read that top one.
Hit the like button. It makes Big Rich's hair grow quicker.
I love it. It's not long enough, guys. Come on. It's not long enough. But thank you.
OBG Foster said
No, Melissa F says, I watch them all. Of course. We got, true diehard fans that watch every one of them.
Said, after what happened to your big fish and Greg Whitstock's Ferrari, will you ever transport big fish that big again? I don't know whatever he's talking about. Greg's koi Ferrari that died, but there will never be nothing that deters us from transporting large fish. I don't know what you're referring to.
Koi, 36-inch koi from Chicago to our house, and then all the way to Atlanta, Georgia, to Shaquille O'Neal, and none died. They're doing good. They're still in Shaquille's pond. So I don't know what you mean by something died. You're catching me off guard there.
Kevin Josie said, can you guys talk about catfish hybrids? What breeds with what? Red tail, tiger shovelnose seems to be the most common.
Okay, what's the best thing to feed a catfish?
Fish.
Tillamook jerky. Hey, Kevin, you know that. The best jerky on the planet. Tillamook.
So majority of catfish can breed with other catfish. You'll get red tail tiger shovelnose, red tail marble cats. You'll get tiger shovelnose marble cats. You will get red tail Peroon sharks. You'll get there's a bunch of creepy ones out there, but it's figuring out how these catfish actually mate with one another.
Give them the right temperature,
it's
the
artificial
right conditions,
insemination,
and they'll do it.
So, you know what? Just because you stick 2 catfish in together doesn't mean that they'll breed. Some of these Asian guys over across seas, they've got the whole fish trade by the balls.
Bringing up these little Asian guys. They got no time but to sit here and figure out how to make triple tails on a little fish and then short body it and then make it glow in the dark.
They are making millions of dollars off of wild Americans across the globe because they think this little beta fish with all these pretty colors are awesome, yet they're over there doing fish shows and making millions of dollars off of koi, and it's just crazy. So to get these hybrids, sometimes it's artificial insemination, sometimes it's natural, because you don't find none of these hybrid fish in the wild. There might be a select few, but it's very, very rare. Ricey24 said, any advice? I disassembled my 40-gallon a while back and just got some silicone ready to reassemble and reseal, but a little slice of glass is chipped off of the 2 panels. Can it be repaired? Can be repaired. I would
40
not.
gallons is hardly no pressure
I
going
would
on.
not have disassembled it. I would have just stuck B to silicone in
Inside.
the corner and be done. Hell, I just did it with a 450 gallon because I'm not worried about the pressure.
Disassemble it, right?
Not worried about the pressure one bit. So if you guys don't know, it doesn't matter how long or how wide a tank is. If you have a 1 foot tank, the pressure is virtually nothing. The pressure gets larger as you go deeper. So if you have a 2 foot tank, it's not really that bad. But if you have a 30-inch tank, you're right there on the cusp of I'm worried. Once it goes to 3 foot, I'm willing to take that beast. But once it gets to 4 foot, that's a whole different ball game because the amount of pressure that's on those seals is crazy. So to have a tank that's 6 foot deep and it's been holding for the last 20 years and we're not worried about it whatsoever, when it comes time to resealing that front panel on that 4400, he's doing it.
And I'll show you the right way to do it.
No, he's gonna do it, and I'm gonna have to get in there and redo it.
No.
Brian Crossman said, how did you get the Bellagio tanks? One of our members on OFR actually
contacted us.
Me the ad. I negotiated with Guy.
No, hold up. Well, before that goes on, let's tell him. When we got the ad, it was a picture. This is all it was. Back of a semi-truck, 2 doors opened up, dark semi. You seen the end of one tank and the end of a fish stand. They said they were the Bellagio tanks from the show Tanked. I looked up the Bellagio tanks. I agreed that they are the tanks, but they're inside this dark. It was a dark picture, and they wanted like 50 grand. I called them up, and I was like, look, I don't know. I don't want to upset you guys. I've only got 10 grand here, and that's as much as I can muster up. And I'm expecting to get 1 tank, hopefully, possibly. Please let me get 1 tank. It's 1,800 gallons, all acrylic, 2-inch acrylic. It's huge, 20 foot long each tank. And he's like, you know what? We haven't had 1 call on these tanks. Come and pick them up. I'm like, wait, he just said pick them up? Like, did he just give me both of them for 10 grand? So here we go. Now the next thing, it was sketchy. This guy had a super thick Mexican accent, and all he wanted was cash. He would not take PayPal. He would not take cashier's check. He wanted cash. So I'm thinking this is sketchy, but I have to be all in because 10 grand for 2 of these tanks is amazing. So me and Tracy went to we got a video on it, went to Las Vegas. We rented a car, and I kept the money in the car and around the corner. We brought it in cash. And we parked it, and then we got out and we walked over to his shop. When we got there, our semi met us there. He backed his semi up. All of his workers took out these 2 tanks that looked like brand spanking new, not a scratch on them. Brought them into his warehouse. His semi moved. Our semi backed up. They helped load them in. I shrunk wrapped them all and then wrapped them in moving blankets that he supplied. And then when we got him into the semi, he's like, okay, I want my money now. I'm like, Tracy, go get the car. So I was being funny. Me and her left. We went and got the car. We come back. We paid him, no problem. And then our semi drove home. We flew home, and then we met him here, and we got him unloaded here. $10,000 we paid for both Bellagio 20-foot tanks. Each one's 1,800 gallons piece. Plus there was a $3,000 chiller on each of them. There was a $1,800 protein skimmer that was 4 foot tall on each of them with the pump. There was 4 other pumps on each of them. There was multiple huge extension cords that had hoses the size of my thumb, like 0 gauge wiring, all through this thing. There was a huge wet dry filter, which we're using on our main filtration now. There was a 8 foot long UV light on each one of them. Them are still not hooked up. We still have them. I mean, it's just amazing the amount of stuff extra that came with these things. So That's what you guys see. We got 10 grand into them. That was one of my most expensive tank buys ever. And it is one of the most impressive tanks when you walk into our showroom.
Alrighty. Got a question. Says, how are Venustus cichlids with other fish?
We have a huge 8-inch Venustus in with all of our cichlids. No problems
Probably
whatsoever.
about 10.
You think he's 10 inches?
Pretty big.
He's a big boy. He's the biggest cichlid we have. Josh says he's 10 inches. Look at our cichlid tank. One of the Bellagios is the cichlid tank.
You actually have 3 in there.
Well, he's the only one. He's huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people talking about pedigree koi. Yes, they can get expensive.
Yes. Sierra O'Mara says, what would be your most rarest fish? That'd be the Vincent Wu gars.
Yes, the albino and xanthic gars. They are pretty expensive. They're awesome. Nobody has one.
Nobody has one.
And that's all
We have
thanks to
2.
Vincent.
We have 2. And they're amazing. They're amazing.
Dave Hudson said, will Hubert be going into the pool? No, he
No.
won't.
Okay, you go to the Cleveland Aquarium and you go to the touch tank. You can touch a stingray, you can touch a turtle, whatever. If we put Hubert
You just
into...
say touch a turtle.
You stop it. We could take Hubert and put him into the 58,000-gallon pool pond and you'll never see him. But now I can reach in and pick him up and show him and let people pet him and hold him and touch him and all that and all these videos. You can't do that. You stop it, Josh. You can't do that if he's in the 58,000-gallon pond.
Rub it and pet it.
Stop it.
Oh, man. Let's get some more fishy questions in the chat. Hang on, it's jumping on me. So people are petitioning for a biotope for the gooch. So I was planning on doing a riverscape for the gooch.
We're still doing that.
But right now, he's doing too well in the tank that he is in, so he's staying there for now.
But there's 3 fish that can go in with him in the river biotope that all need fast-moving water, that love fast-moving water, and will eat more if they were in fast-moving water and grow more if they were in fast-moving water. 1 is the tigrinus. 2 is the goonch, and 3 is the jow. So we want to set up a river tank. In other words, have power heads all on one side through 4 pieces of PVC pumping water this way. They suck from a piece of PVC that goes all the way down and gathers water from the other side. So basically, it's gathering water from there and pumping this way. So the fish feel it's a river. It's always coming through. Non-stop water coming through. They'll hide on the side. They'll come out and they'll eat and they'll go back to their hiding spot. This is their natural habitat. Fast-moving rivers. They grow the best in there. Also, the Dorado would do well in there. Any other fish? GATF would do good with them. You know, all
But it's not a
depending
biotope
on
at that
size.
point.
All depending on size.
It's not a
No, that's the
biotope.
same fish in the same river at the same type thing.
Sir. Tigerfish is from Africa. Goonch is from India. Jows from South America.
But they're all fast-moving water is what I'm talking about.
But it's not a
Not
biotope.
but. You're killing me.
Someone fact check me, please.
He's right, but they're all from fast-moving water is what I'm saying. If we can put them all in together, it'd be great on a river-scape tank. You're killing me, Josh.
We have Pruitt Farms Wolf Enterprises for $2. She sent an emoji with a little fox and a bunch of hearts.
Thank you.
We're just gonna say TikTok.
TikTok.
Oh man. So what if I just create a biotope of just a bunch of random fish? Say it's a biotope.
It's not a biotope.
It's the greatest biotope on planet Earth.
Stop it. I'm saying a river sanctuary type tank, not a biotope, because that's not fish from that same river, but they all need the same fast moving water.
But they all try and kill each other.
They don't. Man, you guys gotta excuse me. I gotta whip my son for a second and teach him some respect. We'll be right back after this, man.
We have Richard Maloney for $5. He said, Bruce needs some love.
Dude, what is wrong with you?
He wanted Bruce.
Richard, I'll get you for that. Thank you for the super chat, but you're gonna make me beat my son. Dude, put that thing down. Why when you put that on, do you have to attack me? I mean, why?
It's a fun thing to do. You bought it for me.
I did. And that was the problem. I was out with Liz.
Oh.
Stop! Put that thing out. That's got sharp teeth. Dude, these things are like hard. Gone. Okay. We can go on.
So yes, let's talk about the red tide. It is a horrible situation down in Florida. I hope that, more people become aware of it and, they finally put an end to it. There is, like I said, a lot of the phosphates in the water. There is a type of algae that is releasing toxins and killing hundreds and hundreds of fish. It's terrible. It stinks. And it hasn't...
Look at your... Oh,
it's not just a new thing. It has been going on for years. So it can be fixed. So I hope enough people come to the realization that we need to help them. And people get out there and start helping cleaning up this problem. Paul's been out there. He's been putting out videos trying to make people aware. It's a good thing. I'm all for it. I'm sorry I can't fly down to Florida and make a video on the red tide right now. I'm busy. I'm working 1,000,000 hours in a day. I wish there was more time in a day. And you know what? We'd all have fun and make a bunch of conservation videos.
Can you imagine if we lived in Florida? We would dig so many ponds and have so many fish. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
South Florida, correction.
Yes.
Remote control boats with a GoPro in the big pond.
Yep.
Except my fish will chase the boat, try and eat it, and
the arowana has already ate a 4-inch lure and swallowed it. It's in his stomach. A 4-inch lure, a plastic fish. Just you buy a kid pole and it has a plastic fish on it.
Are you trying to make 4 inches seem bigger than it really is?
Oh my God. This guy. So we got brought by Willstar a little Spider-Man fishing pole, 3 foot long, and it had a 4-inch little fish on it, and we threw it out there, and the arowana just reluctantly went after it. We were swimming, reeling it in so fast, but he finally got it, and he would not release it. And then once we ripped the line off, he swam around with it for like 20 minutes, and then he swallowed it. We even caught the fish, brought him up on land, opened his mouth, and tried getting it out of him, but it was already in his gullet. Now, this was like 2 months ago. This fish is in his gullet. I mean, it's a plastic fish, and it's already in his gullet. Unbelievable. So,
if you guys wanted Diesel, you got Diesel.
Somebody. Hi, buddy. Hi. Aw, hi. Aw. He's so just adorable.
Are y'all coming to PA anytime soon? Probably not. We always make our rounds whenever we go somewhere. We announce it to where if we have any other fish on that trip, then we pick them up on our way. What are you doing?
He's loving on you. Aw, Diesel.
Such a little adorable little kid. Oh my God, look how adorable.
Diesel, quit licking my eye. How long do you think you can keep going before realistically you need to move to a bigger premises?
We have been wanting a bigger premises for the last year. Who needs a bigger house than 8,200 square feet? We do.
That was before the addition.
Right. Well, we bought this house. It was 5,100 square feet.
7,200.
No, it was 5,100. We built on the first edition. It was 7,200.
I'll bet you on that.
Then we built on, and it was 8,200. Don't listen to him. You don't know what he's talking about. So now we're up to 8,200 square feet, and it's not big enough. We're running out of room. We need, you know what we need? We need a government grant for making a public aquarium, and then take all of our stuff to a public aquarium and run a public aquarium here in Strongsville, and charge to come in, and then do all the. Oh my God, there's no other aquarium near us. You know what I'm saying?
So Zillow, before the addition of the second fish room, 8,200 square feet.
Stop it. That's my words I put in there. You stop it. I put that in there. You can put anything you want as stats for your house in there.
Look
on
on the
Zillow.
deed. When we moved in, it was 7,200
It
square
was
feet.
5,100 when we moved in. Yes. You are wrong, son.
I'll bet you on it.
Whatever. Stop arguing with me. You're wrong.
Did not add on 3,200 square feet.
Yes, we added on a lot. You are wrong.
Agree to disagree. Now moving on.
Frank Zappa said, buy Rod's Predatory Fins. Yes, he is selling his pet store. He is selling it with all the fish tanks in there.
And it's smaller than our
He
pool room.
does not want to move them tanks. So I am in talks with them about some of the tanks, and maybe we can go down there and get them and bring them back up here.
All right, guys, we got just a few more minutes on this live stream, so let's get whatever questions you want in the chat, and maybe I will get to them. You don't need square feet, you need cubic feet. That's a lie. So you have square feet, you can build up as far as you want.
Your mom is doing so good. She's just laying there. Look at her. That's great.
Mr. Jake says, will the property hold its price, or will you have to reconvert the pool? Actually, with the pool being a recreation pond, it's actually worth more.
Yes. Zillow has raised our property up to where we're at one point we were at $700,000 for our property. That's nowhere near what I paid for it. I paid $140 when I moved in, and then I spent 35 grand on the addition, and then another 18 grand on the second addition, and then probably 10 grand on the back porch and all that addition and the pond. So we're close to 200,000 into this house, 220 something like that, and Zillow says it's worth 700,000. Now it's recently dropped to 550,000, something like that, but I don't care. We're not moving. There's no way we can move and move all these tanks and move all this fish and move these ponds to our new property. You know what I'm saying? There's no way. We do have the biggest house in the 1 mile square area in Strongsville. Nobody has a house this size here. The biggest house next, close to us is the house next door at 2,200 square feet. Everything else is 1,500 square feet. So.
Alrighty. So that brings us to the 8 o'clock hour. We actually have a few seconds left, so I'll read one more chat. Which one is it going to be? Plans for the Paraíba. He's getting chunky.
He's big. He's like,
Dude,
whoa.
quit licking me.
You look at him and you're like, oh my God, he's thick.
All right. Josie Tackett said, Irwin, ? What about him? you are more than welcome to bring him. That's the tortoise.
Oh yeah, we're still waiting on Irwin. Still waiting on Irwin.
She said August sometime when her son or whoever comes back, they're gonna help her bring him here. So with that being said, we will sign off for tonight. Diesel's getting a little bit antsy. We got to feed Mom.
It's 8 o'clock. That was the alarm just went off. I have to go feed Tracy.
So it was a great pleasure hanging out with you
Awesome
guys
hanging
tonight.
out with you guys.
Hope to see you all here on next week's Stay Fishy Friday. And as always,
stay fishy, my friends. We love you guys. All right, let me go here and close this one.
I'm just going to look pretty on screen till then.